Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about lesson 86 today, factoring trinomials day 2. And factoring trinomials day 2 means we're going to talk about when a is not 1. It's the exact same process we had previously. We're going to do all the same stuff we were doing yesterday, or I should say the previous lesson. And now the difference is now instead of it being 1 times whatever the c value is, it's going to be an a value times a c value. And we have to just make sure we're taking care of that. So remember, always in the form ax squared, right, plus bx plus c. And you multiply and they go in here. Okay, so what we have here is 2x squared plus a 5x plus a 3. So I'm going to put those there. My product here and my sum. Product is 6. My sum is 5. That's 3 times 2. Will give me that. So that looks very, very similar to what we just did. The difference now is I have 2x squared. Now you get to pick. They're both positive, so I'm going to put a plus 2 here. Let's kind of keep them together. Put those together. My plus sign comes between, as always. 3x plus 3. Now where your difference is. Now your GCF here, this is going to pull a 2. X coming out of the front. X plus 1 is the leftover. Inside there, what's left inside there is there. This is going to pull a 3. X plus 1. Now we know we refer to that as the common, right? The common's got to match. In this case, the common does match, which is great. I mean, obviously, we need the common to match. Okay? So, and our common matches here. So our common is going to be x plus 1. And it's going to be 2x plus 3. And that, if you FOIL that back together, will give you what we had to start with, which was 2x squared plus 5x plus 3. Okay? Now, the difference is the coefficient of a was, in this case, 2 instead of being 1. So when we were done, we ended up with not just x plus a number and x plus a number, or x minus a number and whatever. You ended up with, in this case, 2x plus 3 as one of your factors. Now, if you look, the next example has 2 letters in it, and I know some of us are like, "Oh, that makes your chest bump. Oh God, this is going to be horrible." It's okay. What we're going to do? Watch. We're going to move. I'll move this a little bit so we have some room here. Okay. Let's get back to our pen. Okay. And what we have here is 2a squared minus 7ab plus 6b squared. Now, don't worry about the b squared. If just treat it like it says 2x squared minus 7x plus 6. You're still going to multiply 2 numbers whose product is going to give me 12. What product is 12? And my sum is going to be negative 7. And that's going to be negative 3 and a negative 4. Now, we have 2 negatives, so it doesn't matter which one goes first. Just make sure you keep track of your signs. 2a squared. I'm going to go minus 4ab. This is the only thing I do is just put ab there. Just make sure I put an ab. Plus, I'm going to have a negative 3ab. Right? Plus 6b squared. Parens here, parens here. I'm now pulling a 2a out. How come? Because 2a squared and 4a share 2a in common. Leave me with just an a. That's an a. Minus, now I did 2 divided, so that's a 2. A's gone. B. Plus sign comes down because nothing happens to that plus sign. I'm going to factor a negative 3 out of this. Why? Because my number here is negative 3ab, and I have 6b squared. And you say, Mr. J, but b squared. I get that, but it's in the back. We want to pull this negative. I'm going to pull a negative 3, leaving me with, or negative b, right? Leaving me with a. My sign changes. 2b left over. So now what we have is the common is a minus 2b. And the leftovers, the stuff on the outside, is 2a minus 3b. And bam, there you go. You can FOIL that back together to make sure it works. Notice the process does not change. The process doesn't change at all. It's the exact same process. The only thing that are changing are the numbers. That's the great part about factoring trinomials. As long as I have factorable trinomials, is that they will always factor the exact same way. Factorable trinomials are going to work this way. Product sum works. That's why this is so vitally important going forward. All right, let's take a look at a couple more examples on page 2 here. Okay, this one says 9x squared minus 12x plus 4. My product here and my sum, right? 9 times 4 is 36, and it adds to make negative 12, right? We're going product and we're going sum. So that's negative 6, and that's negative 6. Okay, 9x squared minus 6x plus negative 6x plus 4. Okay, why? Because I just split the middle, right? There's a 3x coming out of here. 9 and 6 share a 3. They share an x. I got a 3x minus a 2. Plus sign comes down because nothing happens to him. I got to pull a negative. Why? I have a negative 6x. I got to pull a negative with them. So I'm pulling a negative 2. The x in the 4 is fine, leaving me with 3 minus 2. So you can see right there, I'm going to have a 3x minus 2 as the common. That's the common for both of those parentheses. And then I have 3x minus 2 as my leftover. This is a perfect square trinomial. It just happened to work out that way. Really cool. Perfect square trinomial. We can have that happen again. Remember, we write that as 3x minus 2, quantity squared. Okay? Looking at number 4, it says 9x squared minus 6x plus 1. Product sum. My product here is going to be 9. My sum here is going to be negative 6. Sounds like a negative 3 and a negative 3 to me. Okay, 9x squared minus 3x plus negative 3x plus 1. Paren, 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 paren. They share a 3x in common up front. 3x minus 1 left over. They share a negative 1 here. You got to pull that negative. Got to pull it. 3x minus 1. Another perfect square trinomial. Just happened to be 2 in a row. That can happen. Okay. This is your common, right? Your common and your leftovers. And end up with 3x minus 1 quantity squared. All right. So now let's move this down a little bit. Let's just move this down a skosh so I can write down here. Okay. We go back to our pen. And now my product here is negative 8. Right? Product of negative 8. My sum here is negative 7. Because 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. Then I want to add, so I'm going to have a negative 8 and a positive 1. So 4x squared minus 8x, always putting that negative first whenever possible, plus x minus 2. This one's actually really straightforward. Right? Same kind of stuff we had here. If we pull a 4x right out of here, I got 2x, not 2x. I have x minus 2 left over. The back parenthesis, there's got to be something. We're pulling a 1. X minus 2 left over. Right? So your common here is x minus 2. So my common is x minus 2. And I have 4x plus 1. All right? So there you go. You foil that back together, you're going to get those answers. It is the exact same process, ladies and gentlemen. You do not need to change your process. Nothing needs to change. All these things are going to work the exact same way. The issue becomes just pulling, make sure you're pulling the right things out, and then making sure your commons match, and then your leftovers go in there, right? So once you have your commons, you know what your common's going to be. Your leftovers fill the other parentheses. Make sure you keep your sign. All right, you'll notice there's some homework here to try out. Okay, try those out. We're going to go through them, answer questions and stuff. And like I said, as soon as I am back, I'm going to make sure that we have all this stuff down, but I need you guys to be working while I'm out. Okay, and if you have questions, of course, you're welcome to ask me as soon as we get back. If it's something you feel it's super pressing, you need to ask me earlier, that's fine. But let's make sure we are trying these out. Go back and rewatch the video, watch the factoring we're doing, go back and watch 85